The New England Patriots just fixed one of their biggest problems. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. On the daily Patriots content, don't miss out. All you got to do, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give me a like. It would mean the world to me. As well, if you did not know, we're doing a little hoodie giveaway, multiple hoodies. Below in the description, you will find out what to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know the New England Patriots last year had a lot of problems. A lot of problems. It's like you're on a boat fishing with your buddy and there's a bunch of holes in the boat and you are sinking fast and you are trying to figure out how to solve all these problems, but it just overcomes you and you are gone like the Titanic. Now, one issue that has basically been resolved, that has been taken care of, that a lot of people haven't been talking about, has been the kicking game. Now, last year, we remember it was Chad Ryland and Joey Sly that were kind of battling it out for that job. Now, what's rough about that is Chad Ryland ends up going to the Cardinals, balls out, goes 28 for 32, and does well, and everyone in the Patriots is kind of like, oh, maybe we should have went with a young guy. But Joey Sly, he comes in, goes 26 of 33, rough, had some big ups and had some drastic downs last year, and we remember a lot of them. There was even opportunities in the game where he could have pulled it closer or even pulled ahead at times. He missed what should have been easy chip-ins, and it was tough to watch. So when it comes down to it, he was not reliable. They end up bringing in Parker Romo, and in OTAs this year, or so far, he's been okay. He's been okay. Not, I would say so far, NFL material. He's been 7 of 12, but the absolute phenom, Andres Borregales, has gone through OTAs 11 for 12. And a lot of people haven't been talking about this, but we need to remember on special teams, and I've said this long ago, when your special teams is doing things like they're supposed to, no one's necessarily talking about them, and that's a good thing. You go in there. It's like the long snapper. You go in there, you do your job. If you don't mess up, no one's going to say anything. Simple as that. I had to give. I was voted to give our high school graduation speech to the graduating seniors, and one of the pieces of advice was, listen, if they don't remember anything from your speech, that means you did a good job. And I'm like, wow. Because years ago, someone went for like 45 minutes and people were furious. And does everyone remember that? Yes, they do. Interesting, but people remember the good things from what I've been told. Anyways, great move by the Patriots getting Borregales. And I think a lot of people are it's one of those things where it's, hey, we're so focused on the wide receiver room. We're so focused on what it's going to look like for this offensive line, especially at left guard, that we forget, like, hey, we basically have figured out the kicking situation. And Borregales going into this next season as a rookie is going to get that opportunity to be the guy. Again, Parker Romo, unless things change going into mandatory minicamp, into training camp, I think Borregales is the guy. He was the top rated kicker in this year's draft. The Patriots made a wide decision, and I predicted it, that they would be drafting a kicker because that's obviously something they desperately needed. And so moving forward, I think this is a check in the box, problem solved, and now it's moving on to bigger and better things. But again, I know a lot of you are probably like, man, well, yeah. But again, special teams are one of those things is, if you're doing your job and you're doing it right, people aren't worrying about you. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and people are just like, okay, perfect, on to the bigger and better things. And yes, special teams are a small percentage of the whole football game as a whole. You know, obviously a kicker is not out there a ton, punter's not out there a ton. Well, hopefully a punter's not out there a ton. But again, compared to your offense and defense. But this is a good thing to talk about. This is a good thing that they have resolved moving forward. And hopefully Borregales keeps balling out into mandatory minicamp, into training camp, and so on. Best of luck to Joey Sly with the Titans. And again, it's kind of a bummer about Chad Ryland, but Borregales moving forward, I think he has a ton of potential. So comment below. Tell me what you think about that. Next up, we head into mandatory minicamp, so meaning people have to show up. Players have to show up. OTAs, it's voluntary. You don't have to. But the biggest question is, what are the big headlines going in for the Patriots? Or who are the players that we really should be looking at going into mandatory minicamp? Because remember, they're trying to make an impression on this coaching staff, on this organization. They want to make the team. It's as simple as that. They want to make the 53-man roster. Now, everything right now is pointing to a couple undrafted free agents that we've talked about a ton on this show, and that's Eftham Chisholm and CJ Dupree. Two guys that I think have a great chance. And if you've looked at any 53-man roster projections, and we'll put some out as we get closer to the season, but a little early 53-man projections have both Chisholm and Dupree on the team. And so that would mean that there are players that were on the team last year in those position groups that most likely will not be banking it. So Efton Chisholm, again, playing the slot, incredibly quick. Watching him, CJ Dupree out of Alabama, played at Maryland before that. Tight end, a carbon copy, not carbon copy, but a great fit for a Josh McDaniels offense. Mapu, what's interesting, OTAs, he's been playing linebacker. And so in that position, and then was it Jack Gibbon, who was also picked up, look for them to be battling, especially with Tavai out until possibly training camp. The big question is, when we look at that depth position, who is going to be kind of taking up that role and being able to come in for people like Robert Spillane, Tavai, and hopefully again Tavai is back for training camp. But looking at that will be very interesting, as well. There we go. The left guard position, that is one of the hottest topics, because we look at everywhere else on the line and it's basically fortified. It's figured out. Now, you could argue, again, Bradbury and Wilson, who's going to be there. Again, I think it's Bradbury. I think eventually Wilson can take him over. But everything else is figured out and fallen into place. And so, again, from things I have read and seen, it seems like Cole Strange has kind of taken a step past Schlesinger, or taken somewhat of a lead, but he has to leave no doubt in that pursuit for the starting spot at that left guard. And I do think he can do that. And again, I think that left guard position is a hot topic, just because a lot of people aren't too fond of Cole Strange, and they're done with Cole Strange. But again, I think he still has some potential as long as he can stay healthy. And if he can play up to the potential that he was when he was drafted in the first round, this offensive line, especially him playing left guard, could be huge for this team, for this organization. So comment below, who else do you think are must watches, maybe on the fringe, maybe hot stories when it comes to mandatory minicamp these next 3 days, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Comment below as well. If you haven't commented on Borgalis, what are your thoughts on that? And moving forward. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. My name's Aaron. We'll talk later. Peace.